Welcome to a game between Kaki and Bloa. This game was requested by Kaki. He is a pretty new player to Zero K, but previously has also been playing Metal Factions, a game made by RAR, who also plays Zero K. So it's another Spring Games, which is pretty similar to Zero K in some ways. So he has some experience with Spring Games and he has been learning Zero K pretty fast. Also, Sao has been teaching Kaki how to play. So you can see her Bloa in blue here going for shield bots and a engineer commander, while Kaki is going for a Amphbot factory. And Kaki requests this replay and he said they struggle a bit against Rogue, I think. Yeah, so let's see how this unfolds. And it looks like Kaki is going for economic start with 1 con, while Bloa is going for an economic start as well with 2 convicts. So yeah, this is pretty... Yeah, I think this making more than 1 conch is probably hard on this map because yeah, you don't... It's hard to... Like if then it comes with a few raiders here pretty early, it's hard to protect more than 1 conch. And it looks like... Yeah, this is something you have to watch out, because you try to build the radar tower on this ridge here, but then the conch try to go all the way around, path around here. So if you want to be sure that to build like from below like this, you want to put a move order right next to the cliff in range of the radar tower. That way you guarantee that so you want the build radius of the radar tower to be inside the move command where the conch is. So if you give an order right here, like right next to the cliff, and then make it build on the radar tower, it will go to the cliff first and then build it on top of the cliff like that. So yeah, both players are really going for an economic start, and this with these 2 super mexes, these that produce 3.5 metal, yeah, you have a lot of income, a lot of metal that you want to spend. So you need to like span out a lot of what do you call it? Build power and energy to spend all that metal. And yeah, and Bloa has a little bit more economic stock with two convicts, 2 builders at start. But Kaki isn't far after. He has made more raider styles, so I think you should really try to move forward here. Like, when you have the commander and this raider in this position, this is a good position for radar, I think, because you can spot most of the middle, so you can see incoming raiders. And I usually go, when I expand, I usually go with my command like this, up this way. I think that's a bit better, because now he has been spending a lot of time just going here and building a radar here. And the commander, it can protect itself, while the factory, I mean, unless the enemy is rushing, factory can protect itself against incoming raiders if you're not too greedy and making too many conches. But yeah, making 2 conches, 2 builders in this order is pretty economic. And this is the first engagement. Pretty nice engagement. Ducks and bandits are pretty even. If the bandit gets on top of the duck and keeps firing all the time, the bandit will likely kill the duck without dying. 1 versus 1. However, if you just break the line of fire, the range between the range of the bandit for like just a half a second, yeah, then the duck will probably kill the bandit and survive. So since the duck has so much alpha, if you can like go in, do like fire 1 or 2 shots and then retreat, you can really kill the bandit. So yeah, here comes some first raiding. Like, this is the commanders here, so he might be able to sneak around the wind generators and go around the commander. That could do a lot of damage actually. Like, Bloa was a bit greedy here, making a bit too many cons with not enough bandits and radars to spot these incoming ducks. And now we can even kill the bandits 1 by 1 if you like, unless Bloa is going up. Oh, funny. The solar collector is blocking the line of fire, and the bandit isn't firing for some reason. You don't want to fire at enemy solar collector. Lol. It's kind of funny. So yeah, this is a pretty good position. Like you have more ducks than you will still want to be careful. Like you want to have your ducks on a line so they all fire the volley and then you can retreat instantly. So you kind of want to like skirmish against the bandits and try to like go in and send a volley off and then go back and retreat. There's a micro that you make the ducks win, while the bandits, they have to like overrun them and stay in range of the ducks all the time. So I think it's a pretty even match after all. Oh, but it looks like Kaki hasn't made enough. Enough caretakers and to spend all this metal. So you can see his trade still made him come ahead. Yeah, but he started to excess quite a bit of metal. 1,500. Oh, that's a lot of metal excess. Archers, I mean, they're decent against bandits. Personally, I prefer to stick on just ducks and then add limpets. Limpets are the slow bombs with a lot of health. They're pretty good. They don't damage friendly units. So you can just have your ducks with the limpets mixed in, and then you go in and stun like rogues and bandits. And the thing with, yeah, so I prefer to go for just limpets and duck in this situation. You're more mobile because archer are a bit slower. They're only 70 element per second, and they have a harder time like dodging rogues and stuff like that. While ducks are 90 speed per second. That's as fast as bandits. So yeah. And then you can add a limpet on top of that and slow the bandits, and then you can get really good trades if you slow a group of bandits and have not a bit. You don't need to match the number of bandits if you manage to slow them, but yeah, then you can kill them pretty cost effectively. So yeah, and yeah, it looks like Kaki has finally got his production up and running, and that's good. So yeah. At this point, when you see rogues, you probably want to you don't really want to make archers because they're slower and they're going to struggle even more to run up to the rogues. Meanwhile, yeah, that's not enough ducks to overrun this position. And you don't see this stinger coming up. You probably know that the enemy commander is there. Yeah, you should know that. So yeah. You have to be, since ducks are kind of a slow raider, it requires a bit of commitment if you want to run down the road. You could probably kill like these two rogues, because this rogue would have gotten stuck on the slope and this one was out of position. So you could probably kill that, but yeah. This is a little bit risky. Yeah. So what would you do against rogues? Personally, I would just make more bandits and mix in some limpets. Having a few archers is okay if the enemy has a lot of bandits, but yeah. You probably don't really need them, because the enemy isn't making that many bandits. And most light defenses like Lotus Turrets are pretty useless against those. So yeah. And here's the stingers. You could probably overrun this position. This looks really overrunnable. This is 2,000 metal worth of ducts and stuff. You might even, you should be able to kill this commander pretty easily, really. That's a pretty good trade from you, I think. You see here that the archers are doing something. You're taking some damage here, but you're pretty cost effective here. So that's really good for you. And the enemy just has like, these archers didn't do much because they were kind of too slow to run in. And now they're gonna be facing the rogue, so yeah, the archers aren't really pulling their weight in these situations. They counter the bandits a bit better than ducks. Like, it's a slight counter, but yeah, it's not a big... It's like having a few limpets instead. Yeah, because now now all this force died. And the archers are too slow to close the distance between these rogues, so yeah. Having a few limpets, like, this is almost pure rogue. Like, imagine having a limpet. Limpets are even faster than ducks, then you can just send it on fire command and it will duck and weave like zigzag automatically. And then you get a slow, and then it's really easy for the ducks to close the distance and finish off these rogues. This is just pure rogues. Also in a situation like this, like now the enemy is out of position and there's nothing to protect him. If you just come down, you have a good surround here and you can spread out a lot and just use fight command with the units and they're gonna duck and weave. Like if you look at this lone little archer, it's even if you send it on fight command, it's not really gonna close the distance, because when it's ducking and weaving and trying to evade the shots, it's too slow. Because yeah, it's ducking and weaving. You only have like 12 elements per second, and that speed advantage is gonna get lost if the archer is ducking and weaving, like just going quick zigzag like that against the enemy. It's not gonna get close. Even if it can keep these rogues occupied, it's not. If it's stuck in weaving automatically, it's not gonna like finish it. And this is also oh here's the first limp, but that's nice. That makes it easy for the ducks to like close the distance. But yeah, you lost this position, and I don't think you really had to, because yeah, could just have made some limpets. Like even if you just sent like one archer or like 2 or 3 ducks against this, that's gonna keep all of these rogues occupied. Like even if you had like 2-3 bandits here, it's gonna keep. You might lose the ducks eventually, because yeah, automatic dodging isn't perfect. So even if you send 2 or 3 ducks up here, it's gonna keep all these rogues occupied, and they wouldn't have been able to kill your expansion. Now they got your expansion, and you're far behind in economy. Going for a grizzly in this situation, I mean, grizzly is decent against rogues. It has longer range than them and can basically kite them, so it's decent. But if the enemy makes some like bracketeers, they can you can keep the grizzly disarmed, and then it's not going to do anything. But yeah, it's more of a late game thing. You can make. I'm not saying you can't make grizzly against against shield bots, but yeah. But that's not what lost. That's not what lost you the game. So yeah, I would recommend that you, even if the enemy had just pure rogue pushing up here, even if it was probably like 10-15 rogues coming here, and even just sending like 4 ducks would keep these occupied and would prevent them from advancing. And even if you lose the ducks, it's buying you a lot of time. And then you can also you should have flanked them. Instead you choose to push on against the middle, which didn't really do anything. Yeah. So yeah, you don't really want to go head on against the rogues. You want to spread out as much as you can and try to get them from several angles, if you can. But yeah, at this point it's too late. So that's about it, I'd say. Monospan by Automicro, damit nicht klarkommt. Yeah, I would say that, yeah, it's a bit hard to counter. Like the Automicro of the rogues, you need to counter it. If you just send your units on automatic with unit AI enable and just fight command, yeah, it's gonna help a bit, because they're gonna be dodging on their own automatically. They won't dodge perfectly, but it's still usually good enough. You have ducks, and ducks are fast enough that you can actually close the distance, while archers are not fast enough. So yeah, I think making that many archers was a mistake. Imagine instead of all those archers having been imagine if the archers would have been limpets instead. You would have gone in, and the limpets will dodge automatically if you just set into fight command. I mean attack command, attack move in like these blue lines. Yeah, attack move, and the limpets will dodge automatically. Yes, weave back and forth, and then the limpets are even faster. Do we have a wreck here of the limpet somewhere? Like the limpets are even faster than the ducks, so they can close the distance more easily. Like the limpets are 120 speed versus the ducks 90 and the bandits 90. So yeah, it can close the distance pretty well against the rogues. And as a counterplay, the shield ball player can try to have like bandits in and late game a felon to kill the limpets. But yeah, when they don't have like any bandits in or any felons in there to kill the limpets, you're gonna get really good hits, and then you can just do a quick follow up with bandits, and with ducks, and you're gonna kill the felons easily. And also like just dealing actions, like rogues, they're good against defenses, and they're scaling better when the enemy has a lot of units, because then they're more likely to hit the enemy, because even if the ducks are just weaving back and forth randomly, they're more likely to get hit if they're actually the density is higher. So even if you just send like 2-3 ducks against a horde of rogues, that's gonna buy you a lot of time. A lot of time that the rogues are gonna waste just shooting at the ground mostly. So yeah. So when they did a push here in the middle, that was pretty bad because it allowed the rogues to just go up this hill uncontested and kill mexes. And that's the thing, you have to think about angles. Like, you want to try to get the rogues, like ducks aren't that fast, so they kind of struggle to run down enemy skirmishers. So yeah, you want to like, if you have a force here and then a force here, that's like perfect when enemy rogues are here. And if the enemy if the enemy doesn't have a lot of bandits here, you can easily overrun the bandits, and getting a few limpets hits, it also really helps. So yeah, I'd say in most matchups you don't want to rely on archers to be more cost effective against raiders. You want to rely on getting good limpet hits and then killing the enemy raiders very cost effectively with ducks. And yeah, that's in this matchup. I would. Is there any unit you would want to switch up to? Like if the enemy is just going rogue and bandits, which is pretty good combo, decent combo against shield bots. I like against amp bots. Then yeah, you can like rely on basically ducks and limpets, and the rogues can't go out alone against ducks and limpets, or they will get overrun and slowed. And the bandits, if they have a small force of bandits, yeah, they can't really trail well against ducks and limpets. So then you're basically gonna slow down the game, and you're probably gonna establish a front line, and then it's a matter of like, is the enemy gonna switch into felons? Maybe you wanna make a grizzly to counter felon, or maybe you want to rely on like what do you call them, the boys. Like having boys are pretty good against felons because they have a little bit more range than felon, but they're pretty bad against rogue. So if the enemy is going to felon thug, you can make boys, and then you can like they have a bit more range than the felon, so they can drain the felon. They have larger HP, so they can take a few hits from the felon and slow it and kill it. And then you can even mix in a lobster. Even against rogues, you can switch in lobsters, which is pretty good. Like if you have boys, because then you can throw in. It's basically the lobster is basically an artillery unit for amphbots, because if you have a few units here, you can just throw them against the enemy, and the enemy, especially rogues, are going to struggle to hit anything when you're going fast in the air. And then you close the distance with boys, and you slow the rogues, or you have limpets and ducks, and yeah, there's a lot of things you can do there. But yeah, so yeah, if we look here at the metal execs, you accessed quite a lot there early in the game when you didn't have enough build power. But as you can see, you were still like, yeah, that was why the enemy got so far ahead in value. But you still managed to do some good early raiding. But then your force was too concentrated, and you didn't like manage to surround the rogues. So yeah, those are my tips for you. Good luck and have fun.